What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Outlier podcast. As always, I got my weird ass co-host over here. I'm busting the nut on screen.
Let's
Roger.
go. What's this? Episode 25?
Yeah, 25, number 25. 25
bro.
weeks in a row, boys.
We're 1/4 way there to 100th upload. We have to do something special for the 100th upload.
What about 50?
We'll do something small for 50. We got to do something for 50, but I think we have to do something big for 100.
100?
Like dropping like a special edition apparel. Like,
I'm down for that. But I was thinking more in the sense of production. Like we should maybe I do one from your house. The 100th episode from your house or something.
That's not
But-
100. That's what 75 weeks away though. You're going to come before then.
Why'd you have to ruin it with math, bro? I'm just throwing ideas out there, man. You over here like carry the one. Like, come on, bro.
I mean, unless you plan a trip in 75 weeks.
I mean, I can just for that if we want to make it special, right? Why not?
Now, well, it's if the listeners want to make it special.
Yeah, and it won't just be from his house, right? Like, well, that would be part of it, but we'll do other cool stuff, right? Like maybe little mini games or challenges or something.
For sure. And then it doesn't even have to be from my studio. It can be somewhere else. The equipment that I have is so minimal now. Now that I bought this software thing that records.
You could travel with it or what?
Oh yeah, dude. This is the little piece that I take everywhere.
We'll do one like on the sidewalk or something.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we'll consider anything you guys want. So if you guys really want it, we'll make it happen. Anyways, let's get into the Would You Rather. If you guys have been a listener for a while, you know the drill. The Would You Rather comes from Estevan. He says, would you rather live in a world like Resident Evil zombies, or would you rather live in a world like Silent Hill?
Okay, before we answer that, guys, make sure you go check out the Common Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram is the Real Common Podcast. I keep forgetting to say that at the beginning of these podcasts. Last episode did very good. I need you to explain to me what Silent Hill is. I don't know what the heck Silent Hill is.
It's a video game. It's just a horror video game. I mean, I wouldn't know how to explain it other than
you answer and I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay. Fuck, that's a tough one.
Resident Evil or Silent Hill, right?
If I'm being honest, I'm not too familiar with the mechanics of Resident Evil, meaning I don't know if zombies sprint in that game or not. But that's a huge factor. If they don't sprint, I'm gonna go with Resident Evil.
Oh no, is Silent Hill a first-person game?
I don't know. It might be.
It looks like it from here. Okay, if it's a first-person game, oh, it's not. It still looks scary though. Here's the thing: I don't do none of those stuff. Like I don't play horror games, bro. Because especially the first-person ones. Have you seen those spooky ones where you're like with the flashlight walking through the halls? Hell no! Bro.
I actually like those, but I would want to play them in a group setting, right? Like. Yeah. You're in a dark room and like you have a couple friends with you and you're like, you go first. All right. And then it jumps out and scares you. Like I like that type of shit. Or even watching people play those games, I think is
yes, watching people play those games are pretty cool.
Yeah, because you kind of don't feel alone, right? You're kind of sharing that experience with that person, and it's kind of it eases the blow, if you will. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the zombie one just because I've always fantasize about living in a world with zombies and you have to shoot your way out of situations and shit like that.
I think they both have zombies though.
Do they?
That's what it looks like from the Silent Hill cover. Thumbnail from this video. It looks like a zombie's chasing them.
No.
I would go with Resident Evil just because this Silent Hill one looks like it's in a dark setting, and Resident Evil's not always in a dark setting, right? Like you can fight in daylight.
I guess so. I'm going with Resident Evil just because I'm not too familiar with Silent Hill, so I know in Resident Evil you got that good shit, you got those good guns, and so I'm gonna go with that one. I'm going with that one.
Same here.
Okay,
I'll
good.
take my chances on what I know.
Let us know what you guys would pick in the comments, and also feel free to comment a new one for next week. Estevan's kind of our ongoing man that goes ahead and submits those
We
for us.
appreciate you, Esteban.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The first topic I want to talk about is Brittney Griner being sentenced to 9 years in Russian prison.
Oh, bro, it's like it's not 9 years in prison. It's 9 years
Yeah.
in Russian prison,
Yeah.
bro. 9 years of prison in Russia.
So,
Russia's already prison. And now you just like you're in Guantanamo Bay.
so for those of you that aren't familiar with who she is a
WNBA.
WNBA player, obviously, that has traveled to Russia back and forth for competition, and apparently on one of her trips there, she got caught with I think it was CBD oil or something of that sort, which is
It was something
basically
hemp.
yeah. So basically, it's from marijuana, right? And that's very illegal over there, and so they got her for that, and they found her guilty of possession of whatever the fuck, you know. So now they sentenced her to 9 years in prison. And obviously people are outraged. But I'm not too mad at it. Like it's one of ours, you know, like fuck, right? But it's like also play stupid games and you win stupid prizes. Why would you travel to a country with something you know is illegal there?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, if you know the law, maybe she didn't. I'm assuming she did. I think we can all assume that she did. I mean, how are you going to go to a different country and not know some of their laws? Especially if you're taking, I don't know, because it's like CBD, whatever. It's still kind of harsh though. Like 9 years for like that? Because you got to think about the justice system. What is the justice system for? It's to correct wrongful actions, right? If somebody's acting out of line, is essentially what it is. They have to go to prison. Somebody breaks the law, they go to prison because it's harmful to society. How is this lady carrying a little bottle of like CBD oil? Why does that deserve 9 years? Like, we really have to think of the fundamental like thing that she did here. It's not enough to sell. It's not like she was taking in kilos of marijuana.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's where it's kind of ridiculous. And I guess that can lead us to why we think Russia is doing this, because I don't think they would have done this if we weren't in the situation with Ukraine.
Yeah.
Where us stupidly, America, our government is sending millions of dollars and help to Ukraine. And what we're gonna think that Russia's not gonna find out. So I'm pretty sure what's happening is that Russia's like, okay, you want to help Ukraine? We're keeping this 6'5" big old woman over here.
Yeah, for sure. It's a harsh sentence for a reason. They're sending a message. They're obviously not happy with us, and so they're gonna set an example, right? But one thing's for sure, I'm not going to Russia. I'm not traveling over there. For fucking what? Hell no. One of the only places I'm willing to travel to is like Italy. I always wanted to go to Italy. And I'm pretty sure they won't sentence me to 9 years over there. You know? And you know what's funny? They actually talked about they wanted to kind of set a deal and trade her for some guy that we have that was I think like a smuggler or something, a Russian smuggler or arms dealer. I think he was an arms dealer, a Russian arms dealer. And they wanted to do a trade, like if that's somehow even, like.
No, they've done it before. So this attorney, I read an article today that the attorney that's working on this has already done this before, where they trade someone. That's so primitive. Think about it. It's like, oh, you have our people, you want to trade? Like, what?
Is that considered as trafficking? If you're trading humans?
Yeah, that.
But
Could
I
be.
mean, it's what I mean by it's how like how do they see that this arms dealer holds the same
Mm,
strength as someone that was carrying a CBD pen? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like trade for a different Russian, not one that's over here trading guns and grenades. That's just not equal, you know.
Yeah, and I feel you. But at
Um,
the same time, it's like you think Russia's gonna like just want to trade anybody.
mm, yeah, for sure, that's true. But
If you've seen Stranger Things and you still want to go to Russia, I don't know what's wrong with you.
yeah,
Have, have
that's
you
true.
you've seen
Yeah,
Stranger Things?
yeah. You're talking about the prison scenes and all that shit, right?
Yeah, well, the KGB in general.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, it's a show, right? So it's gonna be who knows how fucking accurate that is. But yeah, I mean, Russia's for sure not a friendly place to Americans, for sure. And you also got to think about, um, man, I was gonna say that another reason why I don't feel sorry for this chick is because she was known to be talking shit about the U.S. a lot. Like
Oh,
she
yeah.
was someone that was super like the U.S. sucks. We got to do better. Like I don't like living here. Just super against the U.S. You know, and so hopefully I feel like this has made her open her eyes and be like, the U.S. isn't that bad. You know,
Mhm.
sure we have issues and all that, but in all reality, we're like top of the top countries in the world. So hopefully
It-
she's
It's
not
a
ungrateful anymore.
it's a privileged mindset, and we talked about it just right before we hopped on this conversation on my podcast. So Saul made an appearance on my podcast. Go check it out. And we talk about this privileged mindset of, well, I don't have to deal with starvation. I don't have to deal with all these problems, these issues. Let me complain about stupid little things and how my country doesn't honor this, honor that. When in reality, bro, you have it very good. Congratulations. You just figured that out in the worst way possible. You went to another country, you got caught with a little bit of CBD and you got locked up. That's where you
Nine
want to go?
years. 9 years.
That's where you want to go. Go ahead and live over there then. You don't like your country? There you
Uh,
go.
I mean, I just don't like people like that, you know, that talk shit on their own country. But it's like it's so obvious that this place is not that bad. Like if you really do feel like that, then just don't live here. It's that simple.
Literally that simple. Any other country will take you.
Oh yeah.
America's the America's the country that everybody wants to go to, so we have to set borders and boundaries.
Yeah.
If you don't like it here, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Mexico will take you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, in all reality, she probably won't end up doing the full 9 years. She'll probably do 4, 3,
I don't even think that. I think she gets out in a
less.
year.
Really?
Year or two. I think we'll make a deal. I think this whole Ukraine thing's gonna be settled down by then, and she'll be out.
I don't know if the Ukraine thing is going to be settled down, but I believe they'll make a deal, especially with the pressure that Biden's getting. Right? A lot of people are saying that if Trump was in office, that she would have been home a long time ago.
If Trump wins, she's home.
You think so? Well, one thing about I don't really I'm not a fan of him, but I do believe he really does care for his people.
He's patriotic, yeah.
So I do believe that, you know. So I think he'll do whatever it takes to get that person home.
Yeah, 100%. He's more patriotic than caring about other people. He cares about the country, not so much about the individual, which I'm okay with, right? Whatever. I'm not gonna say I love the guy. I don't, right? But I think he's better than Biden. Um, that's all I'll say. But if there's anybody that was gonna get her home, it would be Trump. I think.
Yeah, that's true. Um, fucking one another thing I want to talk about is the monkey pox. Now I don't have too much information on this other than I heard stories and I've read a few articles that weren't really too specific. Now, basically, if you guys don't know what monkeypox is, it's just another virus that's going around that's not as infectious as COVID. It's
Mm.
much less common or much harder to get. From what I have heard and read, I don't know if this is true. The only way it could be transmitted is anally.
Before we get into that though, because it's so interesting and very peculiar, it's a reoccurring virus. So it was around in the 80s, then it went away, now it's back. And but yeah, so the way to get it is anally. And the statistic is right now is that 98% of the people that have it, that have gotten it,
Are gay.
are gay. They're homosexual
Yeah.
and male, right? I haven't heard any females.
No, I think there was one female.
Okay. Well, so I think you had said this that Joe Rogan said like, yeah, 98% are gay and the other 2% just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of obvious what the statistics shows that gay people, homosexual people are the ones at risk. Sorry about that. But it's super interesting because if it is transmitted anally, how is it that it's only like gay anal? Like doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, guys have anal sex with females
Uh-huh.
and they're not getting monkeypox. So how is it that like a guy on guy is getting monkeypox? It just doesn't make any sense. What's the difference? What's the difference between a guy anal and a
Yeah.
girl
Yeah,
anal?
yeah. It makes no sense. Or even just not even the strictly guy anal thing, right? Just the fact that it only lives in the anus, I guess. Like this is the only way to get it from anal. Like how the fuck does that make sense? You can't get it from blood or from vaginally, or that makes no sense.
Super
And
weird.
then I saw another article that stated that you can also get it from sharing a bed with a partner that's infected, which
Here's what I think, bro. I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. I think personally, this is all a psyops. I really think.
I don't know about that. Before we go any further, just so you guys know, we are not educated or informed about any type of thing. We're just literally thinking out loud, and everything we say is not obviously the whole 100% truth. It's just what
Yeah.
we've heard, right?
It's all speculation here. It's all
Yeah,
speculation.
it's all speculation. So why do you think it's a psyops? Continue.
Before I get into that, let's talk about the symptoms. So the people that are getting it have like these super deep sores all over their body, inside their mouth. They have sinked in sores in their skin. Like picture like if we were made of, I don't know, ice cream or something. Somebody got a spoon and took a scoop out of you. That's how it looks. That's how bad it looks.
Yeah, these big ass craters in your skin.
Exactly. Here's why I think it's a psyops. Are you familiar with AIDS? Like the story, the history of AIDS?
Well, I as far as I know, it's very similar to monkeypox. It was a very at the time exclusive. Uh, is it a virus? Yeah, right. Virus to for
Homosexuals.
yeah, homosexuals. Like the whole thing was like if you got AIDS, you were obviously gay because
Yeah.
people believed it was only for gay people back then. But I believe now anyone can get it, right?
Yeah, so monkeypox is playing out just the way it is with AIDS. And so it's believed that AIDS was an agenda to push that homosexuality was wrong. Like you shouldn't be gay, right? But the truth was that anybody can get AIDS. Because then later on, it turned out that the media was saying, "Oh, guys and girls can get it. It doesn't matter. If you're having sex in general, you can get AIDS." So the theory, the conspiracy theory out there is that this is going to play out just the way AIDS did. It's starting out with homosexuality. Why? Because they're the minority. And so what people are going to think is like, oh, I don't have to worry about it. I'm not gay, right? I'm not having anal sex. We don't have to worry about that. And then it's going to get pushed into the masses where, oh, you're sharing the same bed. You might get monkeypox.
Yeah. So one of the things I find interesting about it is that it's very, very apparent that you have it. Like you could look at someone and be like, "Oh, he has monkeypox." Like, yeah,
He's missing an eye
he's
and
missing he's missing the whole cheekbone right here. Like, it's very. But I wonder if that's like at stages, or if that's like a kind of like a very quick process. Like if you get infected and then within 3 days your fucking nose falls off. You know what I mean? I wonder if it's that quick, or if it's kind of like you're 2 months into this monkeypox infection and now you're starting to lose a fucking pinky toe. You know. I wonder if it's that type of thing.
I don't know. I absolutely don't know. I would assume it's not something overnight, right? It would have to like take a process of like, oh, you start to see like maybe freckles or something of that sort, like just irritation in the skin, and then it starts to get worse and worse and worse. But I really don't know, so I can't really speak on that. But that's interesting. Here's my question to you, and maybe the listeners can answer on this too. Do you think this is going to be something that's going to be easily passed by, or do you think this is something that's going to stick around for a long time?
I don't know. I feel like it's something that shouldn't be too hard to control, because of the infection rate is nowhere near as infectious as COVID. Like it's spreading very slow.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it keeps spreading, it's because we're mishandling it. Like it's so slow spreading that if we isolate all these people, it should die down pretty quick, you know. But
Just let them die, huh? Just
might as well. Fuck it. I mean, why would you want to live with a goddamn cheekbone missing? You know, one eye missing. Fuck all that shit. Just take me, Jesus. At that point, right?
nah. I
Nah,
want to live.
you're living with one eye and
I'm living
half
with
a
one
nostril.
eye. If I can go back at it and have anal sex again.
Nah, that's funny though, because my chick had actually said, if you get monkeypox, I'm breaking up with you. And I was like, oh, because it's a gay thing. She's like, yeah, if you get monkeypox,
No, she said that.
yeah.
Damn,
like-
she might be homophobic.
I know, probably right. I was like, what's
You might
wrong?
wanna
What's wrong with
test-
getting monkeypox?
Test it out. Kiss a guy in front of her.
Nah, it's funny though, because if I did that, I'm obviously gay. But if she does that, oh, she was just having fun being a silly girl.
It's experimental, you know.
Yeah,
It's just
I just had a drink or two and I was just feeling fun. You know?
I have one of my guests that was on the podcast. We had a conversation after we were recording, and he was talking about how one of his exes cheated on him with another girl, and she tried to pull that. Like,
Oh,
to
like
him
it's
it was,
okay? Yeah.
yeah, to him it was cheating, but to her it was like it's not that big of a deal. It's a girl. Like, I didn't get penetrated or anything like that. We just had a fun night. And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, that's
No,
another
yeah,
person.
yeah.
That was another. That's an
Intimate thing, yeah.
experience that you had with somebody else that you shared that should only be with me. It should only be exclusive with me." And she was like, "No, like it. Like I don't see it that way." It's like, what?
No,
So
yeah.
weird.
Because
So
look,
weird.
all you have to do is flip the script, right? And he should have asked her, so if I went and fucked a
Sucked off
guy, yeah, is that cheating? Or no, because I don't roll that way, so it was just ha, just silly times. Does that count? Obviously, she's gonna be like, no, that counts. Like you cheated on me, and you're
If I
obviously
came back to you with the mushroom stamp right here,
yeah.
does that count?
But even let's even dumb that down, right? So a kiss, right? If Sarah, for example, was to kiss another girl or like make out, let's say make out with another, would you consider that cheating?
Yeah, but I'll tell her I would need to share both of y'all, and then no, yeah, of course, bro. Like that's an intimate thing, bro.
Oh yeah.
I think it goes both ways, right? Like I think that's equivalent to her kissing another guy. That's just the way we should look at it. It's an intimacy.
No,
thing.
yeah. So here's the thing, though. For me, it doesn't. The act of it doesn't really offend me, right? Like you kissed a girl, like it doesn't really upset me in that way.
It's
But
a double standard.
but to keep the principle that it's an intimate thing that you shared with another human, just off of that, it's cheating, you know? So you kind of got to draw a line. It doesn't matter. And this is where you're like very LGBTQ, right? Cuz you're like it doesn't matter the gender. Cheating is cheating, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was a gender fluid person or
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what you say. It's that it doesn't count.
Yeah, unless like the person agrees to it. Like if your chick was like, "Hey, like, and you agreed to it, or obviously we're
Or yeah,
talking.
if you were like go ahead, right?
Yeah,
It's
we're
some
talking
yeah.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Like if I'm like, okay, yeah, go ahead, like do that, and I agree to it, and it happens, then okay, that's fine. The boundary has been set to where that's acceptable. But if that's not the case, and it's very clear that we're only intimate with each other, then that's cheating.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm getting payback.
You gonna go suck off a guy or what?
I'm gonna get mushroom stab, come back like, ha, gotcha.
That's funny to me though, right? How girls could like do that and be like, "But I'm straight."
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand that. How girls could kind of play with that.
But some guys advocate for that too, though.
What do you mean?
Like some guys push for females, or like they'll say things like, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a kiss," and they'll tell girls to kiss.
Well, yeah, big. That's because like some guys are into that type of shit. Like,
Yeah.
dude, some guys are into all types of different shit. Like, you've heard of
Watching
the term cuck, right? So basically, a cuck is someone that likes to watch his
Watch
wife
the
or partner, yeah, get fucked. And some guys
Yeah.
like that. So maybe that's where it comes from, right? If you're a cuck, you're like, go ahead and kiss that girl. Because you like seeing your partner be intimate with someone else. Maybe that's a form of being a cuck.
Maybe. I don't think it is though.
Because for me, I don't care if it's a girl or not. You shouldn't be intimate with anyone else other than me. That's just
for me,
dumb.
for me, it's like an exclusive thing. So it's like if I was like in a fling with a girl and I wasn't into it, if I wasn't in a exclusive relationship with somebody, if I was just like sleeping with them or whatever, and it happened, I'll be like, okay, I'm okay with that. But once we're exclusive to each other, intimacy wise, and we've set boundaries, and then you go out and do that, that's cheating. Once you cross that boundary, it's done.
Yeah, I agree on that. But why do you think it is that girls can play with their sexuality more than men? Because you for sure have heard of girls be like, "Oh, I've kissed a girl, but I'm not like that. Like I like men." But
I've seen
if you were to flip the tables and say, you're a guy and you've kissed another guy, but you're just being silly. I'm not like that, right? It doesn't work that way, right? Why is it that women have that privilege to, play with their sexuality?
I honestly don't think it's entirely their fault. I think that's like the social.
Yeah, it's like a stigma, right? That because it's you kind of just is accepted, right? When you hear that, you're like, oh, yeah.
I think that's socially constructed in everything that we see, the media, movies, like the adult films that are out there. That's just something that's pushed. It's like, oh, females kissing each other is just not that big of a deal. I don't completely put all the blame on them, but I think if you're gonna go into a relationship with somebody, I think you just make the boundaries.
Would you or do you believe someone if, like, for instance, if a girl kisses another girl and they tell you like, oh, I don't roll like that, like I just was having a good time, would you believe them, or do you? No, right?
I think they're bi-curious.
I'm the same way, right? Because me knowing myself as a man, I don't care how many drinks, like I'm never doing that shit, right?
What if I'm looking delicious?
Nah, bro. Like hell no. I don't care the circumstances. And I've actually had someone tell me, "Well, you've never been blacked out drunk, so you don't know what you would do." Like, if you've ever been blacked out drunk, then you don't know. You don't know.
You know someone that's happened to, huh?
I guess so. Yeah, but I I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I feel like if you take it that far as to kiss the same gender,
Yeah.
and could just look back at it and be like, I was just having fun, then you're obviously,
You're bi-curious or something along those lines.
yeah, that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, me, bro, and I hate double standards. I've always fucking hated double standards because I just think it's the dumbest shit ever when
But I think some double standards
apply.
are there, and yes, are there, and they do apply. I think that's just the way it is.
Give me an example. I'm sure there's some, but I can't think of
Yeah,
any.
so like workforce wise, right? So like guys are expected to go work and do the hard jobs and, do hard labor, but women aren't.
Yeah.
But they're also also a standard for the women to take care of the home that the men don't have to do, right? Wash the dishes, do all these things. So that's a double standard that is very lively, and I think rightfully so. Why? Because women are temperamentally more patient, they're more caring, they're more delicate, and men were just built for like destruction, but in a beautiful way, right? Where we can go out and do that hard labor. But I think some of them, some double standards are appropriate.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, I'm just thinking about no, there's someone that had told me that, imagine if we had a girl president and she was on her period, and they were like, she was just like in the worst mood ever and like on her period, and Ukraine and Russia thing was going on, and they got told the wrong thing that day, and their hair was messed up, they're having a bad hair day, and they just started a war.
I probably shouldn't say this. I mean, I might change my mind later.
And by the way, guys, I'm just being an asshole. Like, I have nothing against women. I just like fucking looking at things like if I'm a fucking caveman. But go ahead.
I wouldn't feel safe with the female president.
Why is that?
I think that women are emotionally bound. I think that they act a lot based on their emotions. I think that they're chemically right inside they sway a lot, and it has to do with their menstrual cycle and stuff like that. Like you're saying, like the period, that's a real thing. Like their mood swings, it's a real thing. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure, like, if it happened, I'm pretty sure it'll be a very competent woman. Okay, I kind of changed my mind now because I feel like if Candace Owens was a president, I feel safe. I don't know if you know who Candace Owens is, but
I don't know.
she has a good head on her shoulders. I changed my mind. I think maybe there could be a good female president, but would much rather have a male.
I rather have someone like Candace Owens, even though I don't know who she is, but I trust your judgment enough to know that she's a well-rounded person, right? Than someone that's like Biden, just can't do the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather have a female in office than someone that's dog shit,
half dead, falling off bikes.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not saying, I'm just fucking around, guys. Don't take me too serious because, yeah, I like pissing people off, and I know there's a few there's a girl that's gonna watch this is gonna be pissed off, and that's why I said that.
Well,
I was gonna say a few people, but I'm not. I think she's the only one that cares.
What was I gonna say? I'm not against females either. I get this label, especially in my podcast, that I'm a sexist. Like I don't like females. I love females. I wouldn't be able to survive without females. Like I love them, but I just think that there's some things that they speak on men that they just don't understand. And same thing goes vice versa. I think a lot of men, speak about women that they just don't understand. And that's how we get abusive fathers. That's how we get, um shitty boyfriends that don't know how to treat their girlfriends right. But then girls take that situation and then they extend it to all men are pieces of crap and like all that stuff. You know what I mean? I think it happens on both sides, but um, I just call things on what I think is true. I call it what it is. I call out females' flaws, but I call out a lot of men flaws too. But obviously, the female, especially on my podcast, it gets highlighted a lot, and people are in my DMs like, "You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a strong, independent woman." Yeah.
Well, just to kind of help this down talk on women, I guess, even though we were just like making fun. Every single war was started by a male, so there's that to think about. Not one has been started by a woman.
But every war has been finished by a male as well.
Yeah, you would think.
Every country has been founded by a male. Every city has been founded by a male.
Yeah, but I think we're starting to hit that era. Like, I feel like in my lifetime we're gonna see a female president.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like we're heading that way.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe it'll be like the best president we've ever fucking had.
Maybe. Or she might dye her hair blue and be super progressive. And we might all have to say people's respected pronouns.
Sounds like a dictator to me. I don't think you should have to say shit. You know?
Yeah, bro. That's why Jordan Peterson's fighting against Canada. Because over there in Canada, bro, if you don't respect somebody's pronouns, you can go to jail.
What? Is that real?
That's a real thing. There's this guy in Canada. This is not about the pronoun thing, but his daughter didn't know if she was a boy or a girl. So what they did was they took his daughter away from her. That way she can decide whether she wanted to be on puberty blockers or not. And when he tried to deny it, they sent him to jail.
What the fuck?
Like they basically said that you don't have a right over your daughter.
You know, it's funny because I thought that these whole issues of like complaining about like, oh, you have to call me by this or you have to call me by that. I thought that was exclusive to the US.
Oh no, bro.
Yeah.
Canada's going under right now, dude.
So I figured they had a little bit of that, like maybe in the UK and Canada, but I didn't know like it was just as bad as the US as it is in Canada.
It's worse, bro.
Wow.
You see, Canada 10 years ago was a great country, and it was a progressive country in regards to the United States, but it was still flourishing. But now they just taken it so far, especially Toronto. Like if you're in Toronto and you fight against the progressives, you go to jail, bro.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't know about that. I'm gonna look into that a little bit more.
Just watch the What Is a Woman documentary. You'll see it.
Oh yeah. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a documentary on what platform is it on?
Daily Wire Plus.
Yeah,
it's
so
fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that, and I recommend you guys watch it as well because I've heard it makes you think a lot, and it makes you question people who you respect, meaning these people who are doctors, lawyers, officers, whatever it may be, people that have a community's respect, and they're put on the spot, and a lot of them aren't able to fully express their thoughts on a certain subject. But yeah,
basic stuff.
Yeah, so I recommend you guys watch it. I'm gonna watch it as well. With that being said, guys, we're about to hit 40 minutes, so I'm gonna end this podcast. I only planned on doing like 25 minutes, I said, but kind of got lost in the wormhole there. Anyways, go ahead and comment next week's Would You Rather down below. Make sure you drop a like, a subscribe, and just comment anything you want. If you don't want to do the Would You Rather, comment hello, and I'll say hello back. Anything you want to plug?
Make sure you go check out the podcast that we just recorded. It's going to be up. By the time you're watching this podcast, the Common Podcast will have an episode featuring your host here, Saul. So go check it out, guys. It's a super interesting one, right? I think it was.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
His stuff is down in the description. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Shmish.